Welcome to the latest remote edition of RPPV News, bringing you stories from across the Mornington Peninsula. I'm Catie Sharp, and our top items for this edition are: Frankston Park staff miss out on JobKeeper payments, a Peninsula update on the COVID-19 pandemic, a cry for help from local charity Dress for Success, advice for small businesses on how to survive these challenging times, and local band Eon Volt hits the top of the unearthed charts. Now for the full stories. Nearly 300 staff members at Frankston's Peninsula Aquatic Centre have been told they won't qualify for the government's JobKeeper payment system. The staff are employed by Peninsula Leisure, a subsidiary council organisation that puts them outside the JobKeeper's terms and conditions. Some 26 permanent staff and 259 casual staff are affected. Member for Dunkley Peter Murphy told RPP Breakfast that this is a devastating blow for Frankston and has written to the government to address the matter urgently. Frankston Council has met about the issue and said it wants to initiate a relief package for the affected staff. Frankston Council has dedicated $3.37 million of its next budget to COVID-19 relief. Now we go to RPPV's Shivani Pillay for an update on the pandemic in Frankston and the Peninsula.
Thanks, Catie. Coronavirus cases in Victoria have risen to 1,336. The Mornington Peninsula cases jumped from 56 to 59 on Sunday, the 19th of April. This is a rise of just 6 in the last 2 weeks. The city of Frankston have 36 confirmed cases, unchanged for over a week. The Mornington Peninsula has dropped from 2nd to 6th on the list of local government areas number of infections as police enforce isolation rules. Funding is required for healthcare for the peninsula's Aboriginal community in the midst of COVID-19. Hundreds of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders and their families have been vaccinated against the flu and tested for COVID-19 at car park clinics in Frankston and Hastings, run by First Peoples Health and Wellbeing. The clinics have been swamped with new patients. CEO Corinda Taylor told Mornington Peninsula News, the peninsula needs a health service controlled by the Aboriginal community if we're ever going to make headway on closing the health gap in the area, she said. Dr. Peter Walsh, Wellbeing Executive, said staff working for the First Peoples Health and Wellbeing in Frankston were using telehealth and were not able to offer a swab clinic, flu vax clinic, or face-to-face consultations. Dr. Walsh said, as you can imagine, the logistics of this are enormous, and prior to COVID-19, we were already stretched beyond capacity. The team running the Hastings Clinic will consist entirely of our executive team, simply because we don't have any other staff. Federal government finance is required for a comprehensive health service in Frankston and on the peninsula, which is said to have remained at approximately $780,000 for 10 years. Greg Hunt has acknowledged that consideration of grants by the federal government have been delayed and said this was to enable stakeholders to focus on addressing the COVID-19 pandemic. Independent breweries on the Mornington Peninsula are under pressure due to the COVID-19 pandemic. The Independent Breweries Association is calling for people to buy locally made beer and support their businesses in their time of need. Businesses are offering online sales and takeaway services. Sales are said to be down by 50%, one local peninsula brewery reported. I've done the forecasts of the best and worst case scenarios, and even the best case is pretty devastating for the industry, Mr. Phillips said. The government assistance package announced so far is helpful, but we're still to understand how brewers can recover with little to no revenue over an extended period. The message is get online, buy local, and support our independent breweries and other local businesses. In happy COVID news, restaurant patrons are helping out the needy. It all started when a generous customer donated $1,000 to help staff employed at Mount Martha's restaurant, Volpino, which was struggling to keep open during stage 3 restrictions. This led to Charity, the Mornington Peninsula Foundation, putting the restaurant in touch with a support centre and the Mornington Peninsula Shire. The restaurant staff now prepare, pack and label freshly cooked meals, which Shire staff take to the support centre volunteers and then deliver the meals to clients who are confined to their homes during the COVID-19 pandemic. David Meehan, CEO of the support centre, said it's a classic ground-up response from the community, which is asking itself, what can we do to help? Business directory. The Shire has developed a new directory of local businesses that are still operating during the crisis. You can filter your search depending on whether you're looking for online ordering, home delivery, or no contact collection. Check out the directory at mpbusiness.com.au. And that's the COVID-19 update. I'm Shivani Pillay. Back to you, Catie.
Thank you, Shivani. The state government has told Mornington Peninsula Shire it can take an extra 2 months to adopt its 2020 to 2021 budget. If the Shire decides to accept the offer, the budget will now need to be adopted by the 31st of August instead of the 30th of June. Not-for-profit organisation Dress for Success has told RPPV that it only has 3 months left as it tries to trade in these difficult times. The organisation offers a dressing service for women and men who do not have access to suitable attire for important events like job interviews, court appearances, funerals, or emergency clothes for those fleeing domestic violence. Dress for Success is a volunteer-based organisation with no government funding. It relies on fundraising events, community support, donations and grants. With no income, it is desperately looking for funds to remain viable. Donations are urgently needed. Please call 9770-0220 or find Dress for Success on Facebook, Instagram, or at their website www.groomedtogo.org. When we return, RPPV's Deborah Ma continues her discussion on the effects the outbreak is having on the local industry.
More and more people with a taste for quality are shopping at Eliza Meets. Kevin and his lean team pride themselves on the finest cuts, from juicy steaks and roasts to high-grade mince and sausages. And Eliza Meets are the gourmet specialists. Inquire about Eliza Meets Spit Hire. Phone 9787 4473 for a mouth-watering meal fit for a king. It's all at Eliza Meets. See our sponsor Kevin at Eliza Meets, 112B Mount Eliza Way, a station sponsor.
Hi everyone, I'm down here in Rosebud at the Rosebud Memorial Hall, and this is one of our distribution centres as part of the Caring for Our Community initiative that we've developed, and we're partnering with community information support centres across the Mornington Peninsula to be supporting local community members who are doing it tough at this period of time and through this global pandemic we're in the middle of. And it's just really amazing being down here and seeing the food, seeing some of our Shire staff that have been redeployed from other positions to be supporting this effort. And I really just want to start by saying a really big thank you to the whole community, because the food you see around me has been purchased and sourced using the resources from community, using community money to help other community members who are in need. So thank you to our whole community for all the positive feedback we've got around developing that initiative and using Shire resources in this way. Also really want to thank the fact that we've had nearly 800 community members as individuals put their hands up to be part of this effort over the coming months, and that's just an incredible sign of just what a strong community we've got down here on the peninsula, and how many community members we've got who are just compassionate and caring and wanting to be there for their neighbours and fellow peninsula residents in this period of time. And I also just want to encourage you, if you're doing it tough, if you've found yourself out of work, there's something going on for you which means you've found yourself in need at this point in time, you're not alone. We've already helped hundreds and hundreds of community members over the last few weeks with food and essential items. So please give us a ring on our 1300 number, get in touch, let us know what you need, and we'll get stuff to you as soon as we possibly can. We need to make sure we all get through this time together, and it's just amazing to see the peninsula pull together in the way we have. So thank you so much for all your efforts, and let's keep going over the next couple of months and beyond to really get through this together. Thanks everyone.
Welcome back. The state government is setting up a $24.5 billion emergency fund to deal with the economic fallout of the pandemic. Understanding the process to tap into this funding can be a complex matter for some business owners. RPPV reporter Deborah Ma spoke to local entrepreneur Shannon Smith about how small business owners can register and take advantage of rescue packages available to them.
Shannon Smith, Director of Smart Business Solutions, joins me this morning just to talk about briefly the JobKeeper that the federal government has put up there for employers and employees. Thank you so much for your time today, Shannon. How's it all faring down there in Mornington with your business, and how are your colleagues and yourself helping small businesses down here on the peninsula?
Yeah, so there's been, it's been horrific when on the peninsula in regards to tourism and hospitality. If you drive through Mount Eliza and Mornington, a lot of the retail shops have actually got, paper on the windows saying that they're actually closed, closed for the moment. But what is positive is to actually see some of the restaurants that have innovated and turned into takeaway, that you would never have been able to get their great food on a takeaway status. So yes. I guess what we're seeing is, I guess there's probably a lot of innovation coming out as well. And look, it's going into a lot of tough times, but the JobKeeper, which officially today people can start enrolling. So if people have actually expressed interest in the past, that's not an enrollment. They can actually only start enrolling today. And if they want to get the April payment, they have to have lodged all of the information by this Friday to be and satisfy all the criteria to be eligible to then get the payment for the month of April, which I really think the JobKeeper is an amazing initiative that they've brought out. I look at it and I think it's pretty smart of the government. I don't know if you saw the news this morning where they're talking about the amount of unemployment that is expected to increase significantly. Yes. So I think the benefits of the JobKeeper as opposed to the job seekers, really, they've gone onto the unemployment queue. Yes. The JobKeeper gets the employee an extra $400 a week, $400 a fortnight, as opposed to being on the unemployment queue. But I mean, the big part of it is that they actually stay connected with the business. So that hopefully when we get through this, the business can hit the ground running with the employees and back on track again. And I guess that's the hope with having this JobKeeper, is that there is that link, and hopefully the positive impact of that is that we don't see more go onto that unemployment queue, so to speak. The other really good initiative that we saw at a federal level as well was the cash boost, which is related to, so if you are actually paying employees your PAYG withholding that you take from your employees' wages, there will be that an amount credited to your tax account, so it will reduce what you owe from a BAS perspective. Or if it does go into a refund position, you can actually ask for the cash back as well. So I think that's what's going to be really useful for businesses.
Yes, and the JobKeeper is what is it, $1,500 per fortnight.
Yes.
Does the employer have to pay the employees first and then get reimbursed from the government, or does the government give them that money first and then?
Yeah, so they have to pay the employees first. And so, for example, normally you'll have to pay that each fortnight and on a timely basis.
Right.
For the first month, being April, they're actually allowing that you can do a catch-up payment now. So the end of what they call the JobKeeper fortnights, the fortnight periods, the end of the second fortnight is actually this Friday, so April 26th. What they are allowing is for you to do a top-up or a catch-up payment for that first fortnight, because there were some employers that wouldn't have been paying staff at that time. They weren't to know whether they were going to be eligible for the JobKeeper.
Yes.
So you can make that top up, but you do actually have to pay it and get all of the criteria satisfied by this Friday, so April 26th. And then next week, you will put into the government to get that money refunded. So there may be some businesses that are going to struggle with funding that amount of money
Yes, a loan
first, and then getting that reimbursed. What the government is saying is that the banks, and I do understand that the banks have been obliging in this situation of being able to extend, say, overdrafts, etc., because of the money is guaranteed from the government and coming through. But that is one challenge, one challenge with it.
So just quickly before we wrap it up, Shannon, we're all concerned about the unemployment. We're also concerned about the businesses down here that keep us going. I mean, hospitality and tourism and, of course, retail is our bread and butter. How are those businesses, do you think, are going to look at the other side of COVID-19? Just as a sort of...
Yeah, I know, it's a really hard one. Look, I actually think that these types of situations really bring out the best in a lot of people, sometimes the worst in some people, but the best in most people. And I really think that as a community, I've seen a lot of people getting around those businesses that are still open and they're offering the takeaway. And I think it's going to be up to, our community is so reliant on small business. It's the biggest employer. It is the backbone of our community. And so I think that what's going to happen when we get to the other side is I really hope that as a community, we all get out there and support all of those businesses. And I know a lot of people are trying to do that now. So, so hopefully those businesses can get back on board, and progress and go
online, which we are. And also, the concern that there is opportunities out there for help, and that's the state and the federal government, and even the Mornington Peninsula Shire is now offered what they call a funding finder website, and on that there's all the free services that tell you about the funding opportunities around Australia, including local. So that's a great thing.
And the state, the state government do have a $10,000 for any business, it's a business grant. It's a state government one, $10,000 for any business that's been forced to close as a result of COVID-19.
Yes.
And as of last week, I've actually heard a number of my clients actually received the money already into their bank account as well. So that's definitely something worth putting in for and filling out. And, and it's good to hear that the money's actually starting to come through as well.
Well, thank you so much for your time today, Shannon, and
no problem.
Good luck.
Yep. Great. Thanks very much.
Deborah Ma reporting there. For more details about the JobKeeper package, visit the federal government's website, australia.gov.au. Now, although Frankston's library is closed to the public, online borrowing and other digital resources are still available. The library's manager, Tammy Goodwin, said online audiobooks, ebooks and e-magazines allow residents to continue borrowing from the library's extensive collection from the comfort of their own homes. Staff are still on hand should you need any help. Chief Sun Distillery in Somerville has joined the local businesses stepping up to help out during the crisis. They have expanded from producing single malt whiskey to creating medical-grade hand sanitizer. The profits from some of the sales are going directly to nurses at Frankston Hospital. Meanwhile, the restaurant crews at Red Rooster in North Frankston and Mornington are delivering hundreds of roast chicken meals to local frontline health workers. They will be feeding deserving doctors, nurses and other staff at Frankston and Rosebud hospitals, as well as the Mornington Centre. Local band Eon Volt has topped the national overall Triple J on Earth chart and pop chart this week with their song Synchronicity from the debut album Axiomatic. This is the band's third #1 in 4 weeks, as their songs Secret Apparatus and Delight have both topped the electronic charts. RPPV is particularly thrilled for our own executive producer Steve Myers, who is in the band. Congratulations, Steve. This is an exclusive look at the new film clip. Remember, if you are isolated and qualify for food deliveries through the Shire's Caring for Our Community program, phone 1300 850 600. And now for the weather with Lisa.
Lisa Lenoble with the Mornington Peninsula 6-day forecast this Thursday, the 23rd of April. Let's take a look at the weather for this weekend and into the extended forecast. Today being Thursday, we'll see a minimum of 11 and a maximum of 20 degrees. Partly cloudy, high chance of a shower with an expected thunderstorm later in the afternoon. Winds will be north to northwesterly, 30 to 45 k's. Friday we'll see a minimum of 13 and a maximum of 19. Partly cloudy, medium chance of a shower, most likely in the morning. Winds will be northwesterly, 20 to 30 k's, tending westerly, more likely in the morning. Saturday we'll see a minimum of 12 and a maximum of 20. Partly cloudy, winds westerly, 15 to 20 k's, tending northwesterly during the morning, then becoming light during the day. On Sunday we'll see a minimum of 13 and a maximum of 19. Partly cloudy, medium chance of a shower, the chance of a thunderstorm. Winds will be north to northwesterly, 15 to 20 k's, turning westerly, 15 to 25 k's during the day. On Monday we'll see a minimum of 11 and a maximum of 19. Partly cloudy, medium chance of a shower, winds westerly, 15 to 25 k's. On Tuesday we'll see a minimum of 11 and a maximum of 20. Partly cloudy, medium chance of a shower, winds northerly, 20 to 30 k's, increasing to 25 to 35 k's later in the day. That's it for me. Thanks so much for watching on RPPV. Keep safe, stay at home. The numbers are going down, which is just wonderful. And get out there for a bit of mental health and take some of that beautiful fresh air in. All the best. See you next week. I'm Lisa Lenoble.
And that's all from our team here at RPPV News, serving the community with stories that matter to you. Stay home, stay safe, wash your hands and get your flu shots. Keep watching and tell your friends. Bringing you the news from coast to coast across the Mornington Peninsula, I'm Catie Sharp. See you for the next edition.